Hayes, also known as Unoni.
And today we have a wonderful game of Overwatch ESC for you guys. Miami University versus University of Toledo.
Yes, this is week 5 of the ESC conference, but it is doubleheader week. So right now, I believe we are a perfect 5-0, and Toledo, unfortunately, is 0-5. So tonight is going to be a little bit of an interesting matchup, I do think.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see a little bit of a silly pick as we get almost immediately into Antarctic here. Uh, Excited to see how this game plays out. Hopefully, it's a quick in and out.
Hopefully, I hope we can really use this opportunity to show some of different team compositions while still remaining respectful of the game, keeping a solid composition going. I do see, looking on our side, we do have Pooter on Doomfist. That is a bit of a shakeup. I feel like we don't see him often. With Bones on Pharah, Winter on Genji, Kabunka on Lucio, and Phosix on Moira. That's not quite our cringe comp, but I know on Tuesday night we saw a lot of Pharah. We saw Bones out really focusing on her and really taking advantage of teams that initially don't pick a hit scan. And looking at Toledo's composition, we are seeing that right now. A Tracer and a Sombra as DPS. They don't really have an answer to this Pharah, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a quick switch. Someone like Soldier, even like Scorpio and Bastion, someone who can do a bit more range damage.
As we get right into the fight here, Doomfist going in deep onto this backside of Toledo, getting the Brigitte down really low, but Bonesaw is going to die fairly quickly to this Tracer. One thing you have to know, as a nice snipe comes out with from Winter onto that Tracer. But one thing you have to keep in mind with this new update on Pharah, she's not actually the same far range like Toki character that she used to be. as Peter gets another kill onto the enemy Junker Queen and just kind of securing this point for Miami here. He's going to be brought very low, but with the block and the heals coming in, he's going to be fine. But like I was saying, Farah is not this far-range pokey character anymore. She's much more grounded,
Yes.
which
She
is something you have to keep.
I wouldn't say less mobility, but different mobility. You know, something
Yes.
that I actually was able to discuss with Kabunga on Tuesday night. It was really great having the team captain here for some more insight. Was that she's a bit more independent right now. One of her new abilities is that she's able to launch herself horizontally. So while she isn't getting quite the same vertical reach as she did before, she still has a bit more of an out, so to speak. You know, if she gets stuck in a bad position, she's not reliant on a Mercy pocketing her to get out. She has that mobility to kind of jump out of the way. But right now, as predicted, DC Super Ninja has switched over to a Soldier 76, likely to answer to
Coalescence is going to come out, going to end up helping get the kill onto this Briggy. Miami going to be taken very, very low. Kabunga is actually going to fall to the Junker Queen, but in return, Junker Queen and the Sombra are both going to fall, both to Bonesaw on this Farah. The Soldier is going to fall immediately after and just going to push Toledo back to their spawn, both of their supports with their tails in between their legs.
You know, I think this is a really great moment from Pooter. You can tell that by using Doomfist, he is really trying to disrupt Toledo. You know, he's not really giving them a chance to group up, to really rally behind any hero in particular.
Rampage is going to come out for Toledo here, but so are a bunch of ultimates actually. Sound barrier for both teams, as is the rally for Toledo. Going to be keeping everyone alive in this prolonged fight. Fozix is going to be taken very, very low. 1 HP. Bonesaw is going to end up falling to this Brigade. Peter Scooter does get the return kill, and the Dragon Blade is going to come out, going to do a lot of damage. Not quite get any kills itself, but doing a lot of damage to make those kills happen. Miami's going to just get the 100% to 0. Though.
Very clean round from Miami. As I was saying earlier, I think Pooter Scooter is doing a great job of disrupting Toledo. He's not really getting the chance to group up, to rally behind anyone. And if you notice, you know, if you were to track his position on the map only, he is very rarely actually on the point. He's always meeting them as they come from spawn, not letting them even contest the point, you know? Any of the people who do make it past them, they're often put in a worse position because they're leaving behind their immobile supports like Brigida. You know, she's not able to just jump past that Doomfist. And so when they finally get the point, they are not getting the heals or the shields or whatever else they need from their supports. We have seen it switch over to Orisa, likely to counter this Doomfist. You know, Orisa is really good at making space between tanks that like to get up close and personal, which is why I'm very curious to see if Pooter Scooter is going to try and force the Doomfist into these Orisa, or if he's going to try to switch it up. And we see Bonesaw, despite the swap to Soldier 76, is still feeling pretty confident on this far of it.
Winter actually playing the Symmetra to, from what I understand of this meta, it's actually pretty awful. I think she just is not very great right now, which is which makes it interesting that we are choosing to play here. Though Bonesaw gets the early kill onto Super Ninja and is going to just be able to give his team a little bit of space. Pooter Scooter is going to actually fall to this enemy Sombra, but Kabunga gets the kill onto the Brigade, making both teams kind of being a few people down. Bonesaw getting the kill onto Fog. Winter and Bonesaw both getting more kills here, and Miami is just going to dominate this early point.
Definitely a little touch and go at a few moments right there. You know, there's a few moments where I was like, oh, you know, maybe they slipped up. Maybe Toledo's going to get a few percentages on the board. But Miami did clamp down, and they are securing the point. I am very curious about Winter on Symmetra. As you pointed out, she's really great in this meta right now. I feel like Miami is really relying on the ability to get the point and kind of set up shop, you know. Let Symmetra, who's very good at setting up her turrets in a more stationary position, like walk into her. Again, we did see Pooter Scooter was having some difficulty with this Orisa, so I am
Bonesaw going to use Justice raining from above, going to get a, not actually going to get the kills, but going to enable Pooter to get 2. Kabunga getting a kill in Winter, getting the last one there. Pooter going to be chasing down this Moira. She's just barely going to get back to the spawn with a sliver.
That fade absolutely saved her. Looking over the side of ultimates, Miami has 3 ultimates ready. Pooter Scooter is nearly ready as well. The only one who's used this recently is Bonesaw, and on the side of Toledo, we see Orisa and Moira have theirs. Vegeta slow is ticking out, but this all does favor Miami, especially already being in a defensive position.
A very interesting barrier, going to be just making sure that Toledo cannot utilize this high ground that they want
Absolutely,
to.
forcing them out of that small little room, which is interesting because you would think a character like Symmetra would really thrive in a tight environment where she's able to throw all of her turrets in and kind of force you to scramble. But they force them out of that
Bonesaw going to be
corridor.
taken very low and going to fall to the virus, but so is a lot of Toledo. They are all healing very, very low. Cooter is going to use the Meteor Slam. Not going to get anything though, but it's going to get this Brigitte very, very low. Kha'Zix is going to end up finishing her off. Kha'Zix going crazy on the point, going to eventually fall. Winter and Cooter both getting kills though. It's kind of an even match on this point. Winter getting another kill, Bonesaw getting another one. Sound Barrier going to be used, but not quite sure why. Maybe just to secure the point, because I don't really think anyone was low. But that is just going to be a very quick
Super
100%.
clean game one from Miami. I do want to point out there, I think
clean.
Scooter had really great positioning and movement. He was down to just 50 HP. They still couldn't get him down because he was leaping out of the way as necessary. And play of the game is going to Kabunga.
I thought it was going to be a Sombra hack, because we don't see Lucio play the games like almost ever. So
let's see, very interesting.
8 kill. Two kills.
Nope. There we go, 2 kills. Maybe not the most exciting play of the game I have ever seen in my entire lifetime, but credit goes to Kabunga. He did have a really great performance in that first round. Like I said, very clean for Miami overall. I don't think there's a lot of errors on our side, I'd say.
Yeah, there were a few silly plays, but I think with how the game went, we can get away with a little bit of silly.
Well, you had a little bit of wiggle room in what we're picking up. You know, again, that Doomfist, I wasn't really liking him into Orisa, but it still worked out in the end. So, you know, I guess if it works, it works.
As we get ready to head to Midtown, I do want to like, while Doomfist into Orisa isn't traditionally good, I think in this case it was just fine.
Yeah.
It wasn't stopping anything. The Orisa was not using her javelin to deny rocket fists
I do
or
think
seismic slams.
part of the success is owed to the skill of Miami players. You know, not to put down Toledo, but looking at the composition, there were a lot of counters. You know, I don't like a Sombra and a Soldier 76 into a Pharah. Soldier 76 is a hit scan, is going to take her down from far, and Sombra, if she can get up close, she can disable Pharah's ability to fly, which of course is the main part of her kit. You know, so the fact that Bonesaw was still able to thrive in that environment, so to speak, with that Sombra and that Soldier 76 focusing him, I think it does speak to his skill on Pharah.
Yeah, for sure. It was kind of interesting to see that, even though as we head into Midtown right this second, it was kind of interesting to see they tried to counter to the best of their ability, but it just didn't really work out in any meaningful way. Um, Miami was just looking very strong, as they typically do. We're 5-0.
Yeah, I am curious to see this lineup. I know we like to not predict what they're going to pick coming out of spawn, which is just at the last minute. We are seeing the Symmetra, and Manga is an interesting pick as well. I know when he first came out, his first release, he was a very, very popular pick. You know, he's very hard to kill. But as of late, especially with the most recent change for Season 9, he's definitely in a worse position than he was. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Toledo pick up a character like Ana or Zenyatta, who's able to kind of reduce the amount of healing he's able to do. You know, take a little bit more damage with the Discord Orb or with the Nade. So, I don't love the Manga pick, but then again, I feel like Miami also reaches a skill level where they can kind of get away with things most people can't.
Yeah, I mean, we're playing Lifeweaver. Like, it's a choice.
We're also playing
Lifeweaver Ana. Like this entire team is unconventional. As it looks like Toledo is going to just immediately break this.
I do have to give him credit. That was a very sneaky symmetric teleporter. It jumped past Miami's front line and definitely disrupting them a little bit. Not quite sure how to react. The team did have to reposition very quickly to adapt.
Manga is going to go in with his charge, going to do a lot of damage here, and going to be kept fairly healthy with the side of Miami, with their healers. A lot of damage is going to come out onto this Junker Queen, going to be kept alive with that commanding shout, and going to be life ripped back to safety, keeping him alive for just a little bit longer. Though, because it was used on the Manga, Junkrat did end up falling, unfortunately, but with the mobility that Junkrat has, I think he's going to be able to get back onto this point fairly quickly as Toledo starts making their way onto the point, going to be just targeting this backline, going to be getting 3 kills here, Winter is, and just going to chase after the backline.
You know, I do
comes
stand
down.
corrected. I did say I don't really love the Symmetra pick. I don't really like the picking the Manga pick. But I am seeing how it kind of comes together, you know, with Super Ninja falling right there. You know, Manga meant to be a character who charges in and just reps the enemy team. I do think there is a lot of benefit to like being able to like boop, pull him back into the team, stop him from going too far. I also am very concerned with this idea of Manga in the sky and just
I
jumping down on the
mean,
team. I would be scared if I was Toledo.
yeah, I'm kind of surprised that there wasn't a swap immediately to Ana. Maybe they want to make sure they get these ultimates out before they make the swap. Winter is going to get a kill on this Sombra, going to make it a little bit safer for U Toledo to, or for Miami to kind of push up and be a little bit more silly with their positioning here.
Yeah, definitely a pretty rough moment for Toledo, I will not lie. They have 2 minutes left on the clock, a little bit less than, and so far they have not made a lot of progress on the point. They were able to touch him very briefly, but that was shut down, and also Riptire coming out from Boza.
Going to end up getting two as the rally does end up coming out, but is going to be immediately ended. Pooter Scooter going to get a double kill there, and it's just the Junker Queen. She's going to end up falling to Winter in a one.
I do believe that was, I think that was nearly a team kill. I think they were off by a few seconds, you know, if Jungle Queen had fallen a bit sooner.
Yes.
But they are sticking the strategy of a Manga in the sky, and like I said, that is pretty alarming. We have seen Toledo is picking up the Spara. You know, hopefully to capitalize on the fact that we really don't have a hit scan. Symmetra and Junkrat are not, how do I say, they're not hit scans, you know?
A cluster happening in this train here. Bonesaw is going to fall, but is not going to fall without getting a
Bonesaw
kill
wants to sacrifice.
first.
However, I'm more, I don't know, it seems super, looks like it's going to be keeping with the Junkrat. I guess we're not going to be too concerned with Toledo's Spara. I guess Manga does have a bit of range, able to counter her. Then again, do you want your tank focusing on a single character in the sky or sticking with the team?
Yeah, and Miami, Miami is able to hold this so well that Bonesaw is able to die, fully respawn, and just get back.
Yeah, there's really no punishment for it, which I think just speaks to Miami's very dominant performance right now. There's 3 seconds left on the clock. Toledo really has to make something happen
EMP
now.
is going to be used by the Sombra. Going to try to force a play here. Cooter is taken very, very low, but it's going to be kept alive. Almost kept alive, that is. Lightweaver is going to end up falling as well, and so is our Symmetra, leaving just Kabanga and Bonesaw coming from base.
You know what? You gotta give it to Toledo. Like I said, there's 30 seconds left on the clock. They had to do something right then and now, and it looks like they are gonna accomplish it. Kabunka does try to touch point, but they boot him back. They force him off the point. And Toledo does get his first point, giving them 2.5 minutes on the clock to get to the second point.
Cage fight is up and ready though for Pooter Scooter, going to end up playing around this corner, trying to get a little bit of poke before going fully in, going to charge. I thought he was just going to use it. There it is.
Go.
Going to use the cage fight, going to get the kill onto the Lucio, and then very quickly onto this Brigitte. Junker Queen is going to, on her own, walk in and is going to end up falling herself.
I was gonna say.
Kha'Zix does die as well.
I did not realize you got so many in the first, but I forgot that you were able to walk in.
Yeah.
Definitely getting the 2 supports down was very impactful, but after the tank on top of that, I mean, you fully shut down your push then. All Toledo can do right now is just reset and regroup, go for another push. They are down to just under 2 minutes on the clock though, and they have made very little progress with this payload. But I also said that last round, we do see barrages coming out on the side of Toledo though, and Bonesaw does go down.
Bonesaw is going to fall, and Winter is going to get a return kill onto this Lucio. Winter gets a second one onto the Brigitte, and that is both the supports for Toledo down. Rampage is going to come out and end up killing Kabunga. Just Kha'Zix here, and it's kind of an awkward position where Miami wants to take a fight here because they don't, or because Toledo didn't have any support, but Miami didn't have any players.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to see the value of Kabunga picking Zenyatta and dealing with this Spara right now, but I feel like I haven't quite seen the progress yet. Not to diss on Kabunga's skill.
I mean, it's also a point of Zenyatta versus any kind of tank, especially those that are the brawly, less health, but more damage, like the Junker Queen. Pooter Scooter is going to end up getting 2, and Winter gets the 3rd onto that Brigitte and going to chase over this wall, going to hit the Sombra with the Seismic Slam, but is not going to be able to cancel, or to
just
get her
barely gets out.
before she gets back.
Would you see that repair from Bonesaw? I mean, it's one of those really sad moments where he wanted to use that sound barrier, stopped him, but I don't.
Tree of Life
I
going
guess that
to
is a strategy for sure.
do something there. Miami is just kind of forgetting that the payload exists, but I guess we got 2 kills. Farah on her way to the point, going to end up dying on her way there. And there are 2 for Toledo actually going to end up touching, going to stay alive for a little bit, going to stall, but the Moira is also going to fall. Sombra on her way, going to maybe touch, not quite going to get there, and that
Not
is round
able to
1
get
complete.
there. You know, I do think they got a bit further than what Miami wanted. You know, we lost that first point by just a matter of seconds. If Kabunga hadn't been boofed off, we might have been able to stall a little bit, might have given the team a chance to come by and contest for a little bit more. But regardless, we got them to 1 point and about halfway to the second point into overtime. I mean, that's a pretty good position to be in. Looking at Miami, I know we always say we have a much more dominant performance on attack. So I'm pretty confident in us today that we're able to get all the way there to that 1 point and 92.96 meters.
Yeah, I wouldn't sweat it too much. I think that Miami is going to be able to get there fairly quickly, if not almost immediately. Um, we like midpoint too, so this isn't a map that we are unfamiliar with or don't play often. We enjoy our midpoint. So
I do think we are allowing ourselves to have a bit more flexibility in our composition. We do see a very classic combo, in my opinion. We're seeing Pooter Scooter on Reinhardt with Winter on Bastion. I mean, I feel like that is such a classic moment, you know. We have the shield, and you plop a DPS behind, especially one that can do a lot of damage in a short amount of time, like Bastion, and you kind of just wail into the team. It is a little atypical to do that on offense, but Miami tends to be a bit of an atypical team.
one of the things I do want to point out is that Reinhardt, I know I was making a joke earlier about like Symmetra being bad, but Reinhardt is probably the worst character in the game currently. He is just so squishy. He doesn't do very much. He's not very impactful. His shield falls almost immediately. He's just not a good character. But he is going to get he's going to charge and then life grip, life grip back to safety. Kabunga getting a kill. Scooter Scooter also getting a kill, and just going for this backline here. Baptiste is also going to fall, and Miami basically instantly is going to be able to capture
pretty
this.
clean
Going to stagger
charge.
the Symmetra
And
with
she
melees.
just punched to death. I mean, she got melee to death, but to be fair, she also meleeed Kabunga to death, so
Yeah.
cycle of life. Uh, but yeah, looking at it, that was very strong showing by Miami. We see that was back in the testing the point.
Testing, going to be doing a lot of damage to Scooter Scooter, and like I said, Reinhardt is very, very squishy right now. He's not healthy. He doesn't do very much, so he's going to die almost immediately when he is fought. But Winter is going to get a kill, so is Bonesaw as well.
Because Miami has gotten 2 ticks right now, I mean, they were just a few percentages away from that 3rd tick.
Bonesaw going crazy on this backline, going to force them back and going to almost kill him, but not quite. Going to eventually end up getting the kill and get life grip back to point. This Orisa is just kind of stuck in this side room. that was it.
I
An
think she
interesting
accepted her
charge.
fate, but I'm glad she had a little with it.
Artillery strike going to be used,
Oh!
going to miss, unfortunately.
Smart use of the bridge right there. I do think that last point, that last take was really an example
Nice
of
concussion there.
what Kabunga talked about on Tuesday. He talked about one of the things that can really define your performance is your ability to control the tempo, right? And when you have 2 ticks and you have 2 people who are dying, there tends to be a moment where a lot of teams will back off and they'll let themselves reset and regroup. Miami, you know, they kept pressing on that gas pedal. They kept going and going, you know, dealing damage. Even as their tank fell, they didn't let up at all. And I think Team Pelt really paid off because they were able to get that first point. They only have over 4 minutes on the clock. They're about 30 meters away from winning this map.
Bonesaw going to be cut out for being greedy, going to get headshot, railgun.
Scooter is being scolded and forced to come back a little bit. We do see him holding on to Earth Shatter though, as well as Sound Barrier with Kabunga, and Tree of Life is coming out.
Tree of Life is going to be used by Fozix, going to be keeping, trying to keep Miami alive. Hammer Down is going to keep this Orisa from contesting. Team 1 wins. That is Miami with map number 2.
Super strong for Miami once again. You know, defense, we had a few slip-ups.
Bonesaw getting the play of the game on that jump.
Once again, we are so strong on attack. That was a pretty brutal beatdown.
Riptire is such an ability. Going to get 2, and I think he gets a 3rd one here. Yeah. So a lot of good plays there by
Yes.
Miami, going to make that 2-0 currently. It is a best of 5, so there is one more map. It is going to be a flashpoint.
Yeah,
So
we have
either
been
Saravasa or
hot and
yeah.
cold on flashpoints right now. I know we've had a really great performance on them, but I know on Tuesday night we kind of struggled a little bit. It went to a round or a point .5. It was first to three, and it was 2-2 for a moment, and that was kind of a nail biter at one point.
Mhm.
It's not really a great feeling to be having dominant performance map one and then map two, and then you get to this flashpoint and you're like, kind of loosening your grip, your control on the game a little bit. I also know we dropped a map to Kent State on a flashpoint, which kind of worries us. When you have a 5-0 record, you're not dropping a lot of maps. Right now,
Yeah,
flashpoint. I'm seeing that as our
I
weakness.
think we have only lost flashpoint maps.
I think that sounds right to me.
Which is something to be concerned about, especially when it is this game point situation. Um,
You want it to be clean. You want it to be over
yes,
with in three. But like I said, Kabunga talked about Tuesday. Really controlling the tempo. And I'm hoping this map will let us exemplify that a little bit. I know when we have a 2-0 lead and we have a very strong performance, we do tend to get a little bit silly with it.
I think we've been getting silly with it, so I don't
Oh,
think
but I
getting
think
silly
the
will
silly
mean
will be
anything.
amplified perhaps in the
I
third
I don't
map.
think you can amplify off of that last game. Who plays Reinhardt? Like I don't
Apparently,
think
Pooter Scooter.
I don't think we can expect it to get much sillier. I don't think there is much sillier than Reinhardt Lifeweaver.
At
Um
least in this current meta.
I think those are just awful picks.
Yeah.
So I think we're kind of topped out at our silliness levels, and I think if we're going to stay there, then that's fine. We it worked. We got like an almost insta win on that
Hmm.
attack. So I don't think that there is much that Toledo is going to be able to do if uh, on Saravasa as
Yes.
we get into it here very very soon. Saravasa, we have an interesting history with
Interesting history.
Saravasa.
Yeah.
Um,
Complicated relationship with
complicated
it.
relationship with it. I love watching it as we get in right now. Um, I like watching Saravasa. I think it's a very pretty map.
Mhm.
I think I said last time that it is my favorite of the two
To be
flashpoints.
fair, when your favorite of the two, you only have two options. I think that's not a very high standard to have.
Fair.
However, would you see Pooter Scooter? Speaking of, is that
He's
Roadhog? Oh, what a choice.
so
It's a bit of a dynamic duo, though, I will say, with Bonesaw and Junkrat. I mean, those are the partners in crime. DC Winters picked up on Echo, which we saw a little bit of on Tuesday as well. I do like this pick. I hope it's a more serious pick. I know we're really enjoying, these
Echo.
these characters that can get a lot of vertical reach because we tend to find that a lot of teams aren't picking hit scans right out of the gate. Look at Toledo's lineup once again. They're going with this Tracer Sombra into this Junker Queen. It's going to be kind of like a guerrilla warfare style team, but that's not really going to be an answer to a character like Winter, especially when you pair it with Kabunga on Mercy.
I do really like how Echo plays, and I think her design is very, very cool. So I'm excited to see how we do with it. Pooter are going to be forced to take a breather very early in, going to hit the hook and having to walk right back in. And we're seeing why these bruiser types aren't very, very good. Winter getting 2 kills, Bonesaw getting 1 as well, as we very quickly take this first point on Theravasa.
Super clean first push. I know we see the Sombra has kind of been harassing Winter a little bit. I talked earlier about how she can be kind of a counter only because she is really good at, disabling them, removing their ability, their mobility, which is a huge part of Echo's kit, is her ability to fly around. I just don't think it's going to be enough to take her down, especially when you have a Mercy talking Echo. I mean, she has so much survivability then. It's going to be tough. Let's see this Bonesaw Tracer duel going on. Definitely a little difficult when Tracer is such
A little bit of a silly fight here as the
Yeah.
replicate is out by Winter, going to copy the Brigitte and show Toledo how rally go. As how you should play Brigitte as both like a big kill.
Giving them a little less.
Giving him a lesson on Brigitte from the
Oh.
GPS Peter is going to be taken very, very low by that Tracer, but not quite going to end up falling to her.
I'm always going to think it's the choice when you're a Tracer and you use your Pulse Bump onto a Roadhog. I mean, Roadhog is such, like, a durable character. It never gets him. It never gets him.
I think she just wanted to swap to that Torbjorn,
Very
wanting
fair.
to get rid of that ultimate so it's not wasted. Bonesaw going to be taken kind of low there, going to be forced to retreat, but Miami still trying to keep this point. They are contesting it best they can. It is 3 people on the point to 1, 99%. Toledo has to touch.
Ooh.
Overtime just keeps ticking on. Miami is not what was denied a lot of time, but I mean it's flashpoint.
It's Flashpoint. Miami does take the first point. I am very interested in this Torbjorn pick. Oh, I do see swap over to Cassidy. I was going to say, I don't know if Torbjorn would be my first pick. That's a wall. I don't think I would see Torbjorn would be my pick.
That's a
In dealing with a character that can vertical reach like Echo, Cassidy is much more suited as a hit scan. It's really good at picking them out of the sky. I know Cassidy is a very classic Pharah counter.
Riptire is going to be
Floating
used.
around.
Going to get sniped
Shot
out by
down.
that Cassidy. Scooter going to get 2 kills here though, just wreaking havoc in the back line of Toledo. Going to use all of his breather charge.
Oh.
Going to just hard to read that Sombra.
Talk about game sense. I mean,
Going to take it very, very low in the meantime though, half health with no breather left available. Going to be chasing it down the enemy team. Again, we just see this Roadhog bounce, rubber banding in his health bar, going to be copying Junker Queen with that replicate, going to be taken immediately out of it. So unfortunately, Winter is going to fall. Bonesaw's taken very low as well, but not quite going to die, going to be kept alive by Miami support. And it's a 5v5 situation. Lifeweaver's Tree of Life is going to be used. Bonesaw does end up falling, but so does the enemy Brigade. EMP is going to be used, but Kabunga is also going to fall, and I think that is going to be the fight for Toledo, actually. Scooter is going to fall, and so is Fawcett.
I was gonna say, Winter looks like he's taking a moment of peace and just kind of hanging out on his own. Can't blame him there. But I do think this ties back to the conversation I keep talking about controlling the pace. You know, Miami was trying to put, really put pressure on the gas pedal right there. But they had control of the point, and instead of retreating back to point and setting up shop, allowing themselves to kind of hunker down and deal with Toledo as they trickled in, they pushed at Toledo. They forced Toledo into a fight that's off the point. And unfortunately, they were punished for it in the end. Toledo didn't control of it. This Riptire is going to take down that Lucio.
And Miami is going to end up taking this point 73%, almost 75% rather. Probably just going to guarantee second point for them.
Unfortunately, I mean, that's the double-edged sword of Flashpoint, When you get percentages so quickly, it's such a good feeling if you can have a very strong hold on it to begin with. But as soon as you get knocked off, it's very nerve-wracking when you see the other enemy percentages ticked up.
Bullhog is going to end up getting this
Oh.
Cassidy. Winter getting 2 as well. There is a fight on the point that that Pooter Scooter is just not going to be there for. Rampage is going to be used, but the Junker Queen is going to end up falling immediately. Sombra is also going to fall on that point. Overtime is going to take down, and that is 2-0 on this Flashpoint map.
I have to give credit for Toledo right there. They did a pretty strong showing. Got all the way to 66%, but Miami was able to claim it at the very end. Getting that one last percentage they need to 100%. And Winter's up here. He's kind of having a fun time
He's
poking
going
them
to
out. They
get
do
taken very
force them
low.
up to that high ground. I know historically when you look at... Okay.
Okay, Gonzalo. Going to get the kill anyways.
There you go.
Just like take a pause and then shoot again. Get
Take
the
a
kill.
breather.
Going to hit the hook onto this Lucio, going to make him very, very low, but not quite going to kill him. Taking a breather here, getting full health. Bonesaw going to get 2. Pooter Scooter is also going to kill onto the Sombra. And that is point number 3 captured and ticking up for Miami.
I have been enjoying Winter's habit of perching on high ledges. It's something that if you were to look at his game style, his play style, throughout all the games that he has played, he is a fan of controlling the high ground. He loves just firing down at people like fish in a barrel. Bonesaw's using the
Tree of Life
Riptire.
used to kind of block this entryway. Riptire is going to be destroyed, like you said, and Miami is just trying to control this choke point here, but it's going to be pushed farther back. Going to be life ripped back to the point across the gap. Actually, a very interesting choice. Going to get the berry trap by by Junkrat going to be triggered. Miami going to be getting the kill onto the enemy support and the Cassie, both going to end up falling, and Toledo has to kind of take a breather here, going to have to be forced back. Drunk Queen does end up falling, but Winter falls as well. Kabunga getting, reviving Winter. Kujisker going to end up killing the Lucio, and EMP going to be used by Toledo, trying to do anything they can to get control of that point, but it is going to be 100% 3-0 flashpoint by Miami.
I was gonna say at the very end there, you can see every single ultimate in the game coming out there, but it is a clean 3-0 for Miami. With the game going to Winter on Echo, honestly deserved. He was putting in a lot of work this game.
Yeah, I mean, just look at it. Like,
One down.
I wish we got to see more of Echo. I wish she wasn't as weak as she is right now, because she's such a fun character. Replicates the fun ability.
You know, I will have to critique the Overwatch play of the game system a little bit. That was one kill in that play of the game.
There was one
And I
after
know
it, but
Winter is a very impactful player, so I don't think that is the best example
there
we
were
could have gotten of his play
there were
style.
multiple 3 kills,
But
but
he's owed it all the
yeah,
same.
it was a very, very clean 3-0
Mhm.
though
I
tonight.
just an overall a very dominant performance by Miami. I mean, this game has been going on for what, half an hour now?
Yes.
That's a pretty short game for us. I won't lie. I mean, usually these matches can take like a little closer to an hour, but
Yeah,
oh well.
I am not displeased with it though.
No, no,
A
no.
very, very clean game by Miami, as we
I
improve our record to 6-0.
I was just gonna say I think this is very reflective of our current records. I know Miami had a 5-0 coming in, and now we are 6-0 in ESC heading into week 6 next week. And Toledo, most unfortunately, they came in here being 0-5, and they will be leaving 0-6. I think we are at opposite ends of the standings. I believe Toledo is last place, and we're towards first place.
Something like that.
I, I like to not be too negative towards enemy teams, but is what it
Yeah,
is.
Miami is a very strong this season, this semester, and we look to keep improving that score to continue on in this ESC conference. Uh, yeah, that's it for the games tonight. But we do have a
An interview,
interview
yep.
with Kabunga coming up in a short minute. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everybody. Again, I'm Darcy Hayes, also known as Unoni, and as my special guest star, who you already saw this week.
Yep, Jude Kabunga Huff Slyman. This is
Go.
I'll get a bit of a deja vu.
I know. I mean, you might as well become like a regular star. Just come back every week. We'll always interview you. You can be a caster. So I know you guys had a really dominant performance tonight. I mean, that was a pretty quick 3-0 against Toledo. I know going in, you guys had 5-0, and Toledo was 0-5. So not
Yeah,
quite in their favor.
I mean the one thing we want to make sure, been playing with our food a little bit in the last couple weeks. I just wanted to take care of business, get it done,
It's a good
and
mentality.
this was a big bounce back match for us. We had a rough one yesterday, dropped one to Houston. This is a good moment to build up some confidence heading into next week. We got to get as good as we can with our lineup for the UC land.
So I know you guys played around a little bit more sports you typically picked. Again, you're feeling pretty good about this match. What inspires you to pick the sports you do? Like what goes behind what's on your mind of like when you're making that decision?
I go Lucio in a lot of the rush comps we were, we saw that rollout over the
Hmm.
top on Midtown.
Yeah,
Um
I saw you guys kept perching up above the payload.
No, Riley was having a ball on Lifeweaver today. I don't think he had ever really gotten to play much of that hero, so he was just
Yeah.
trying to experiment with it and push the limits of that hero. Um, I would say it was more about just finding confidence in each other and trust in each other. We felt good about how we were going to get the match done. We didn't really think we needed to prepare like a specific
Hmm.
strategy, so we wanted to just take the time to experiment, get used to the communication, and just get used to playing with each other's play styles, especially since I haven't been in the lineup in a while. So, um, yeah, there's really the supports just depend on what the rest of the team is trying to do. On that
Yeah.
third map, we see a lot of DPS, high damage. I go Mercy, try to boost that. Um, Lucio, it's about speeding it around. Ana, I just went on it because it's very general healing.
Yeah.
Get some
I mean,
utility in
she's a
there
pretty
too.
classic pick. I don't think Anna's ever like a bad pick.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
she's
I
not
mean,
optimal sometimes, but she's not bad.
she's never really been bad. Ever
Yeah.
since she's been in the game. Unless Zenyatta is really at the top of the food chain, Ana's always viable.
Definitely. And so I know when you were here on Tuesday and we went to a flashpoint, we talked a little bit how you guys are kind of rocky on it right now. I mean, we know you dropped a map on a flashpoint earlier in the season. Do you think you guys are becoming more confident on flashpoint, or how is that relationship between you and that map type really evolving?
Um, I would say there's definitely a build up in confidence on
Hmm.
that map type. I think, one thing that we had talked about in the booth a couple days ago was the tempo, the pacing of
Hmm.
it all. We just need to make sure that we are not gonna fall behind. I feel like there's been so many times when we've gotten the first one or gotten
Yeah,
one or two, and then it's just kind of dropping the ball, falling behind. Um, Today felt really good about that. We just put the map in front of us and we just kept it there. We didn't let it
definitely.
slip away.
Well, I mean, those are all the questions I had tonight. Is there anything else any other shout outs you want to give out? Any other comments for our audience?
Yeah, shout out to my bases here at Miami. I know they're watching and supporting me. And shout out to all the people in the ESC who's doing the free Kabunga stuff. I think it's really funny. It's been going on like all season. I don't know where it started or where it came from, but I appreciate everyone who's been spamming that in chats. But
Freaking
I don't know.
It's a good
I don't
movement.
know. It's a good movement, and I guess that tonight's the first time we really get to see that happen on a broadcast. So,
Definitely.
thank you everybody
Well,
for
thank
coming and
you
supporting us.
very much for joining us tonight. I hope we do see you again. The booth is over. I've been Darcy Hayes, also known as Unoni.
And I'm Jude Huff Slyman, and we will see you all next week for the next ESC match. We're going to be doing Ohio,
Ooh,
big
that's a big
match.
matchup. Yep. Battle of the Bricks, week 6.